The wind tasted of pine and fear that day. It whipped through the sparse, sun-baked trees of the land, carrying the scent of something ancient and monstrous. It was a scent that made most tremble, but for Avani, it was an invitation. She tightened the grip on her spear, the wood smooth and familiar beneath her calloused hands, and followed the trail. Avani wasn't just a child of Adam and Eve, she was a daughter of the wild. While her brothers tilled the earth and her sisters tended their families, Avani had learned the language of the forest. She knew the rustle of a rabbit in the undergrowth, the warning cry of a hawk, the telltale scent of something other. She was, as the fledgling settlements had started to whisper, a huntress. But not a huntress of deer or boar. Avani hunted the things that lurked in the shadows, the beasts descended from forgotten corners of creation, the monsters born from fear and darkness. Today, the trail was fresh, torn earth, snapped branches, and the unmistakable stink of sulfur. The people of the nearby village had spoken in hushed tones of a creature with scales like obsidian and teeth like jagged rocks. It had taken one of their young, leaving behind only screams and fear. Avani felt a surge of cold fury. She had seen too much suffering, heard too many whimpers of terror. This would not stand. She moved like a shadow herself, her bare feet silent on the earth. Her eyes, the color of the sky after a storm, scanned the terrain, alert for any sign. Finally, she reached a small clearing. In the center, surrounded by shattered trees, stood the beast. It was larger than any man, its scales glinting like polished night, its eyes burning with malevolent yellow light. A low growl rumbled in its chest, a sound that promised pain and death. Fear, for a fleeting moment, pricked at the edges of Avani's resolve. But she pushed it aside. Fear had no place in the face of such evil. She raised her spear, the tip glinting in the weak sunlight. The beast's eyes locked onto hers. It lunged, a blur of muscle and scales, its jaws snapping. Avani was faster. She sidestepped the attack, the air whistling past her cheek as the beast's claws tore through the ground where she had been moments before. She struck, her spear plunging into the creature's flank. It roared in pain, the sound echoing through the trees. The fight was brutal, a dance of death between woman and monster. Avani was nimble, dodging its snapping jaws and slashing claws, each strike deliberate and precise. The beast, immense and powerful, fought with the desperation of a cornered animal. It ripped at trees, hurled boulders, trying to crush her with its raw strength. Avani was bruised, her skin scratched and bleeding, but she would not yield. She had to protect the vulnerable. She had to be the bulwark against the darkness that threatened to consume the world. Finally, with a desperate cry, the beast made a mistake, exposing its heart. Avani did not hesitate. She thrust her spear one last time, the wood piercing deep into the creature's flesh. It shuddered, its eyes growing dim, and then collapsed, its heavy body shaking the earth. Silence descended upon the clearing, broken only by Avani's ragged breathing. She stood there, her body trembling with exhaustion, her hand still gripping her spear. She had won. Word of Avani's victory spread rapidly throughout the scattered settlements. They called her, "She who hunts the night," a name whispered with a mixture of awe and gratitude. She was a figure of legend, a warrior who braved the shadows so that others could live in the light. Avani continued her solitary path, a silent guardian of the nascent world. She never sought praise or recognition. She simply followed the scent of fear, the trail of monstrous devastation, and wherever darkness threatened, she was there, the earliest of the heroines, a daughter of Adam and Eve, who chose to be a protector, not just a survivor. She was a testament to the fact that even in the dawning of humanity, courage and the will to protect could flourish in a single, resilient heart.